My name is Nick Rytilahti.
And I'm Callie Frank. Stay tuned because Sports Talk Live is coming up next.
Hi, welcome back to Sports Talk Live. Today we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We had the NFL this weekend, we had the NCAA football, and we obviously had playoff baseball. First of all, we're going to start with Al Davis' death. He died at 82 this weekend, and it was one of the most tragic things that could have happened this weekend. But a big win by the Raiders, and I think it was huge for them.
Yeah, Al Davis is a very influential figure in not just the football world, but in the sports world. Here's a guy that in 1962, at the age of 33, became a head coach and GM of the Los Angeles Raiders. I think they were the Chargers at the time. But, an innovator, a guy who really made a lot of strides and helped compete the AFL with the NFL, which eventually led to their merger. Al Davis was actually one of the few owners that didn't want that merger, but because of his competitive spirit with the NFL, they recognized the talent in the AFL and spawned the NFL that we recognize today.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't a guy that was just sitting around worried about his own team. He wanted the best for the NFL in general, and he was a guy that really pushed buttons, but in a good way to help out the NFL altogether. And so he had a big influence.
I mean, just the motto of just win, baby. That was huge. If you heard Howie Long's speech on Fox this weekend, you were very touched. I mean, you could tell he was very adamant in saying that Al Davis changed his life. But let's move on. Falcons-Packers, big game this week. What do you guys think?
Well, Green Bay fell behind early, 14-0 there in the first half, and the first time Green Bay had trailed by that much since their playoff loss to the Cardinals 2 years ago. So it was a real gut-check moment for them, and, Aaron Rodgers and the rest of that team, they rose to the occasion and found a way to win.
Yeah, definitely. The first half for the Packers was rough, a total mess, but they came out the second half, they outscored the team 19-0. Rodgers threw for 396 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're 5-0, so
yeah, big one.
The win.
McCarthy, keys to the game, establishing the play-action pass. He also established a run game for them, and I think that made a big difference going in from halftime. They ran the play action, and Aaron Rodgers took advantage of that Eagles secondary. And I also think limited the carries of Michael Turner, which is a huge aspect to the Falcons' offense.
Yeah, once Rodgers got going, he was on target. He tied the team record for connecting with 12 different people, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, another thing, it seems like each week a different guy has stepped up for the Green Bay Packers in the passing game. This week was James Jones, a guy who has been outwardly, he's spoken out about, I don't like my involvement so far in the offense this year. It was a great job by Rodgers to find Jones, finally a matchup that obviously was favorable for Jones with the Atlanta secondary, and he went off. 5 receptions, 140 yards, including a big one, and then a touchdown on that one. So Rodgers is just at another level right now. Atlanta was getting at him early. The offensive line had an injury to Clifton, so you've got Newhouse and Derek Sherrod in there. Rodgers was getting a little out of sync early, and then just found a way to step it up.
Totally true.
Great presence in the pocket. The guy knows how to avoid the rush.
Extends plays.
Keeps his eyes downfield, and he's just got a rocket, man. He's going to sling it in there, and the Packers are looking very solid right now at 5-0.
They're definitely favorites. Rodgers, MVP talks, obviously a must. You got to put him in the top elite.
When you look down the stretch, they're looking pretty good to go for the teams that they're facing coming up.
What about the Falcons? Here's a team that was the number 1 seed, Matty Ice last year. Matty Ice is Matty Nice right now, man.
Yeah.
He's not looking too solid. At home, the Falcons are not the same team they were last year. I look at the Falcons as a team that they were going to struggle to make the playoffs. So we'll see how that plays out there in the NFC South. But keeping it in the NFC North, the Lions restoring the roar in Detroit, also improved to 5-0, defeating the Bears last night on the big stage of Monday Night Football. Everyone thought they were going to crumble with the big lights, big city. They did not. What's your impression, guys?
Well, I felt so bad for Jay Cutler during this whole game. I was so impressed. He has no offensive line. He was running around everywhere. He had guys hanging from his legs, hanging from his ankles, and he was still trying to make the best pass that he could. There's no offensive line there.
Big story to the game, though. I mean, the 26 penalties. It was a sloppy game.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Lions pulled it out. Lions in the past have not, been one of those teams. If they play sloppy, they are not going to win the game. Third down efficiency was another key to the game that I saw. Lions, 5 of 11. Third downs, that's pretty darn good. If you can keep extending drives, that makes life for the defense so much harder. They've got to be out there longer. And, of course, big plays by Calvin Johnson. He's huge. That secondary for the Chicago Bears was shown up. They were shown up by Rodgers a couple weeks ago, and, it's really showing in how they're playing.
Not only did they had some big plays by Johnson, but they had a running game too. Javid Best, he came up, and that really helped them out to balance out their passing game with the running game.
Yeah, and Callie, I love your point about Jay Cutler. I mean, here's a guy, last year after the NFC Championship game, I thought he was going to be the new baby in the crib for E-Trade. He was catching a lot of flack for the way he handled himself. That guy is dealing with a lot right now with his makeshift offensive line. He's getting beat the heck up week in and week out. He doesn't know if the next play will be his last.
Oh,
and that guy hung in there.
There's no joke. And when you're going up against Donovan Sue, he's coming at you
Donkey
every
Kongs.
play.
Watch out.
Yeah, every play. All right. As we said, staying with the NFC North, we've got the Vikings and Cardinals. Are the Vikings the Vikings, or are they the Vikings, guys? Let's hear from you guys.
I was just I'm no Vikings fan, but I was rooting for them to get a win. And especially when they jumped out to that big lead, I just thought to myself, oh my God, they're going to blow it again. This can't happen. But you know what? AP showed up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter alone, but he was on fire.
Yeah, finally Leslie Frazier and this coaching staff figured out that they have one of the most dynamic playmakers in the entire NFL in their backfield. They really emphasize getting him the ball early and often, and despite another horrible offensive line that comprises the Minnesota Vikings, AP is AD, man. He's a guy that's going to find a way to get it done, give him the rock, and let him carry it around, and he came up huge for him, and really inconsistent play again by Donovan McNabb. I wasn't too impressed, but he did enough with that big, cushy lead to get it done for the Vikings. So the Vikings get their first victory. Now we move to a team that still is stuck on their first victory. The Dream Team, although the Dream Team is dead, the Philadelphia Eagles, losing on the road to the upstart and very impressive Buffalo Bills. What do you guys come away with as the bigger story? The Eagles did 1-4, or the Bills, a dormant, a basement closet sleeper at 4-1?
Well, for me, the whole Dream Team over the offseason, I didn't buy into it at all.
Well, it's Vince Young saying. Give me a break,
exactly.
Vince.
So I'm 10 times more impressed by the Buffalo Bills. They're doing great this season. Nick Barnett came through for him, 2 interceptions. I don't know, 4-game losing streak for Philly, and I'm kind of happy
Big
about
things. Pick 6 Vic. He was not very good. I wasn't impressed either. I mean, they're really not the Dream Team. They're a nightmare. The offensive line allowed 6 hits on Vic. The guy's, moving around, and you're still allowing 6 hits on the guy. The soft D, too. They don't have a Jeremiah Trotter anymore. They don't have, that physical presence that they had for so many years with that Eagles defense, and it got them to so many NFC championships, to that Super Bowl. It was a loss, but it's rough to see them struggle so bad. But Fred Jackson had a huge game, 196 total yards and a touchdown. I was impressed. I think he's been one of the big stars for the Bills this year, and he could be a new face to the franchise as much as Fitzpatrick has been
definitely
awesome as well.
There's 3 things I take away from this football game. The performance of Fred Jackson and Ryan Fitzpatrick for the Bills, the Harvard man. Second, the Eagles are stuck in a contract with Michael Vick that, boy, I bet they wish they wouldn't have done that. And 3, we may be witnessing by the end of this year the end of the Andy Reid era. I really agree. I think that could be a possibility. He's been there for a long time. He may be out if this season goes as catastrophic as it's looking. Switching over to the AFC side, another classic matchup we always enjoy seeing. The New England Patriots took on the New York Jets, and the Patriots improved to 4-1. Tom Brady and Ben Jarvis Green Ellis leading the way for the victory.
Key balanced offense for the Patriots. It was totally that. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis has been huge the last 2 weeks. If you watch the Oakland game, he as well had a lot of attempts, and you know what? It kept Oakland off balance, and it's also kept the Jets off balance. And obviously the Jets have struggled against the run. McFadden ran all over them as well. But another big thing, third down efficiency, 3 for 11 for the Jets. I mean, you're ending your drives. You got to keep Tom Brady off the field. That's plain and simple. You don't like that FaceTime he gets. He's with Giselle. I mean, don't give him any more. He's in the tabloids, guys.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you're saying. Let's move on to Pittsburgh and Tennessee. Pittsburgh beat Tennessee 38-17 this week. Ben Roethlisberger is just like hopping around on the field, but some of them came up with 5 touchdowns. You got to give the guy some credit.
Yeah, Big Ben, he's tough. He's always been tough. He's been beat up his whole career. He even crashed his own motorcycle, for crying out loud. I mean, the guy, he competes. The Steelers got off to a really sluggish start this season, but despite their aging defense, I still think they have a pretty good shot of making the playoffs there in the AFC. Mike Tomlin, not a great coach, but a very good motivator. His staff should take most of the credit for what's going on with the Steelers when they're doing well. But Pittsburgh will continue to improve, and I expect them to be a top contender.
And I think another big key to the game was Hasselbeck getting too many throws. He really shouldn't have had that many opportunities. Chris Johnson only got the ball 2 rushing attempts in the second half. Let's be real. They're a balanced team. You got to win off that. And now let's see some perfect pets. Roll it. All right, well, we do not have perfect pets. We're going to go off. Oh.
Meet Pistachio, a domestic medium-haired kitten. Male, fun-loving, and outgoing. He loves to play and needs a loving home. Here we have England, a domestic short-hair, buff tiger in white, male, very fun and playful, very energetic. Loves to be around people and receive lots of love and attention, has a wonderful personality, and he needs a home to always love and care for him. And here we have Debbie, a shepherd mix. She's 7 to 8 months old, full of life, playful and spunky, ready to have fun, and already knows how to sit, but she would love to learn new tricks. Finally, we have Bentley. He is a Shih Tzu Terrier mix, 4.5 months old, a super fluff ball, and as you can see, very energetic.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
All right, let's get back to the NFL. And that was Perfect Pets, by the way, 781-4014. Don't forget, get your Perfect Pets. Let's go with the 49ers. Are they for real, guys?
Yeah, I think the 49ers are for real. Here's a team sitting at 4-1 in the NFC West. Last year, the NFC West winner was 7-9. When I look at their remaining opponents, I see an 11-5, 10-6 record. They've got a pretty cushy schedule. I like Jim Harbaugh and what he's bringing. He's making Alex Smith look like a #1 quarterback he was originally drafted to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I quite believe in it, but Jim Harbaugh's got the whole team believing that they have a chance. And if he can just keep them motivated and keep them on the right track, they're going to get going and they're going to keep winning. All right, so Tebow time. Tim Tebow is now officially announced as the starter for the Denver Broncos, and I couldn't be happier. Thank God, Orton is out. It's time for him to shine. Let's do it.
He got booed off the field in Denver. It was disgusting to watch. I actually got to watch the game against the Chargers, and he got booed off the field. Tebow chants everywhere. The whole stadium lit up. Now we got to just see the end of the before Tebow era, I think. And any thoughts with you?
Yeah, the thing with Denver is they're very lucky that they're in a bye week. They're going to have to transition their entire offensive approach and playbook. Kyle Orton's offense is not Tim Tebow's offense. John Fox is an experienced head coach. He'll be able to conform and change the offense to fit Tebow's skill set. You got to give Tebow the shot here. He's the only quarterback that's going to be under contract for him next season. You might as well go ahead and see what happens. He's either going to crash and burn or become an average quarterback, though. Let's face it, Tebow's not destined to be great. He's got a lot of improving to do if he even wants to be above average, but he is exciting, and the team, man,